The y-axis of the graph shows the cost and revenue in dollar, while the x-axis shows the output per unit. I will be using two graphs to explain the main features. One is a hand-drawn graph for a shoe manufacturer, and the other one is just a general break-even analysis graph constructed electronically. Total revenue curve, TR, is in red. It cuts the origin because at that point no shoes is sold and no revenue is made. The positive sloping relationship shows that the more output of shoes generate a higher revenue, which is reasonable because, for example, the more you produce and sell, the more money you make. If you decided not to produce anything, you will not gain any profit and revenue. Total cost TC curve is drawn in blue. It is shaped like that because total cost equals to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Total variable cost is shown by the pink curve. And since total fixed cost is constant and variable costs vary depending on the output, the sum of these two costs has a y-intercept same as the fixed cost curve. It is because when they do not produce at all, they still need to pay their amount of the cost, such as rent. And as they start to produce more, fixed cost stays constant and total cost increases because the variable cost will increase as the production of output increases. The fixed cost curve, which is green, is constant throughout the whole production, no matter what the output is. Hence, it is a horizontal line. The break-even point, BEP, is the intersection between total revenue and total cost curve. At this point, the firm is able to neither make a profit nor a loss. Break-even revenue and break-even quantity is the revenue and output level at this point. Margin of safety is calculated by the level of demand minus break-even quantity. It measures the difference of firm's current demand quantity and the quantity needed to break even. It shows how much demand exceeds break-even quantity. Reaching a total revenue point beyond the BEP symbolizes profit has been made, while below the BEP shows a loss. It is because the TR curve beyond the break-even point shows that the revenue is enough to break even, yet there is still a revenue left over. While on the other hand, anywhere of the TR curve below the break-even point shows that the revenue is not enough to break even, hence making in other words, at any point of the TR curve beyond the BEP, TR is higher than TC, meaning revenue is enough to cover the cost while still making a profit. Vice versa, TR is lower than TC at any point on the TR curve below the BEP. Hence, revenue is not even enough to cover the cost and is suffering from a loss. Increase in price, assuming the demand does not change, cause TR curve to become steeper because at every point of output, a higher revenue is generated. Decrease in price causes the TR curve to flatten because at every point of output, a less revenue is generated. Break-even point will happen at a lower price level and output if TR is steeper, and it will happen at a higher price level and output if TR is flattened. Margin of safety increases if TR curve is steep, and decrease if TR curve is flattened. Profit occurs if TR is above break-even point and loss occurs if TR is below break-even point. Increase in FC shift FC curve up, decrease in FC shift FC curve down. Both cases will either increase or decrease total cost because total cost is total variable cost plus fixed cost. Increase in FC pushes up BEP and break-even point occurs at a higher level of price and quantity, while decrease in FC forces down BEP. Break-even point occurs at a lower price and quantity level. Marginal of safety increases if fixed costs drop, and decreases if fixed cost is higher. Since we now know the new break-even point, profit and loss could be analyzed in the same way as mentioned above. Change in average variable cost makes TC curve steeper or flattened. It is because at every output, the average variable cost either increases or decreases, making the total cost higher or less. Higher AVC makes TC curve steeper, with a higher break-even point and a higher price and output level. It decreases the margin of safety. Higher revenue and output is needed to make a profit. Fall and AVC flatten the TC curve, lowering BEP, break-even price and quantity level. It increases in margin of safety, and it needs to have a higher level of output and revenue in order to not make a loss. Break-even analysis could be used for example like the shoe manufacturer, allowing them to know the price and quantity needed to produce at in order to cover all the costs, as well as how to make a profit and when does loss occur.